me separaron. Dijeron mucho, pero no se olvidaron de callarse. Cuánto odio por mi piel sembraron. Dijeron historia y la tergiversaron. Dijeron guerra, muerte, odio y nos culparon. Siempre. Enfermedades, epidemias nos contagiaron. Exterminación de mi fauna complace a tus mercados. Dijeron riqueza y todos se lo robaron. Oro, platino, diamante, a la fuerza se lo llevaron. Y la actualidad es tan triste que todo aquello que dijeron es lo mismo que hoy se dice más. ¿Quién dice, quién explota, quién se beneficia? El asesino, el mismo que da las noticias. Hay una cuenta fácil que siempre me da las grandes riquezas, de dónde vienen y hacia dónde van. Independiente como los Mao Mao, concluyente como los Mao Mao, como los Mao Mao, como los Mao Mao. Somos resistentes como los Mao Mao, independiente como los Mao Mao, concluyente como los Mao Mao, como los Mao Mao, como los Mao Mao. Somos resistentes como los Mao Mao. Nati Dre es afroresistencia, cultura ancestral, afrodescendencia, solidaridad. Esa es la esencia, la diáspora africana eleva la conciencia, conciencia negra, universal, progresista y transcultural. Negros y mestizos revolucionando, pueblos caribeños y africanos en un solo bando. No más explotación, colonialismo interno, no más confusión, supremacía blanca en el Babilón. Soy rojo, negro y verde, afroliberación. Mientras más negro, más represión. Somos creadores, recupera tu visión. Mi misión es educar con amor, contra el silencio, vivo sin temor. Independiente como los Mao Mao, concluyente como los Mao Mao, como los Mao Mao, como los Mao Mao. Somos resistentes como los Mao Mao, independiente como los Mao Mao, concluyente como los Mao Mao, como los Mao Mao, como los Mao Mao. Somos resistentes como los Mao Mao.
One, two. Rise Up Morning Show. We in the building. It's Friday. What's happening, y'all? How y'all feeling out there?
What's going on? Everything good. Everything good.
Okay.
How y'all doing?
Man, we good, man. Why y'all looking nervous now? Before we came on, y'all talking big stuff. Talking about, over here in France. They talking, man, listen, we had a little beef. You notice the French folks in France on one side, you know what I mean? Folks over in the U.S. on the other side. I don't know what that is, man. I'm feeling like, it's some type of segregation going on right here. Hey, what's happening with that?
Hey, we African people, man. We speak all type of languages, man. Don't be like that.
You gonna throw it back to me. I like that. It was cute. It would be the dread to try to come for me. Anyway, how y'all feel this morning, man? Everybody woke? Bouna looking like he been up all night, practicing. You all right, brother?
Yeah, calling orders. Because I'm not used to doing this type of shows. Now it's become an international show. So I'm becoming famous worldwide, right? So obviously I'm a bit nervous, but anyways, I'm doing it for the good cause. So
thank you.
By the time we end this show, I'll be, #1 celebrity in the US, right?
Hey man, you be like this other guy on another show.
Hopefully for good reasons. But anyway.
Yeah. While you were saying that, Isaac was in the background saying, "Yeah, Bouna over there giving out orders." What you mean, Isaac? What you saying, Isaac? What you what's going on? What you mean?
The process to get this morning show started is so much fun, and a big part of that is Bouna. Either it's last minute or just hey, let's inquire about this video. It's such a blast to be in that group chat and see us all interact, and at the last minute, what do we need? What's going on? What's and us making it happen. So no, but yeah, Bouna does call shots. He calls the shots.
Yeah, but you have to tell the audience that you're talking about different Bouna, right? Not the one that otherwise, they might think
they'll be confused.
That I'm mistreating my own African people.
Right? Oh, okay. Hey, Bouna said, "Listen, I'm the only African from the continent."
That's true, man.
Hey, man, he pulled the African card on us, man. It's all good. We all African people. Thank you, Fernando, for pointing that out. You know what I mean? But definitely, we are. This is the Rise Up Morning Show. We appreciate you all for checking us out, for tuning in, for subscribing. We are just under 50K. I think we're about 100 and 90 something subscribers away from 50K. But we believe in our audience. Matter of fact, we need a nickname for the audience, man. What y'all think? What any suggestions on what we should call chat?
Hey, man, I don't know. We might have to think about that one.
Yeah, we haven't prepared this for the chat. We have to.
We might have to find a good name. For now, it'd be the Rise Up crew.
Rise Up Nation.
Rise Up Nation is not bad.
Yeah, y'all sound like one of these OGs with them long titles. How about the Resistors?
You're the one who brung it. You're the one who wanted the damn title.
Come on, man. Why you bringing up old stuff? Anyway, this is the Rise Up Morning Show, and as you can see, these dudes, I don't know what's up with them, man. We got somebody else on the way, one of our other hosts. He trying to get in. We don't know where he at. You know what I'm saying? This brother
from New York City to Philly.
Yeah, this brother Ikemba, man. You know what I'm saying? He been trying to get in for like 3 hours now. You know what I'm
saying? He's gonna make it.
In the background, will Ikemba make it? That's the we got a milk carton and whatnot. Y'all want to put him on the milk carton or what? I think we're gonna have a reward. Where's Ikemba? You know what I'm saying? The first person to find him gonna get $100,000. Oh, I found him. Okay, he's here.
There go the brother Ikemba.
What's happening, brother? Welcome
good?
to the morning show.
Okay. Hey, power to the people.
Okay, power to the people, man. We glad you could make it this morning, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. I had to rise up.
Okay, I like that. Man said to rise up. You know, we noticed something today, Bouna, man. I think he's trying to compete with you, right? Now, normally he been light skinned the whole week. He flipped his lighting to try to be dark.
Light skin? Hey, man. I ain't never light skinned.
We're the check.
You're not talking about me.
We're the check. Anyway,
I'm the darkest one up there.
Oh
man, come on, it's because of the light.
I'm the darkest.
Turn off the light, you won't even see me, man. Come on.
You gotta keep it real.
They having a beef over here. But anyway, this is Rise Up Morning Show, man. Definitely happy to be back on with y'all. This is episode 3. This is only our 3rd episode. Shout out to Isaac, who's been keeping the videos going and whatnot. Shout out to Sister May, who's been keeping us on task and whatnot, helping us look good. And we are here. It's the weekend, guys. What we got going on, man?
Hey, man, the weekend is coming up. I'm happy because yesterday I was able to do a little bit of yoga with my children. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting my kids up on yoga with me. Do some yoga with me.
Okay.
So that was pretty dope. So this weekend I'm trying to spend a little time with the children too, but got to do some work. But that's about it, man.
Okay. Brother's a yogi. I didn't know that. How about the rest of y'all, man?
Do a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, tomorrow I got on the Indigenous Nightmare Network. We do a decolonial movie review. So we're gonna be breaking down a book that I've been reading for the past couple months now, called National Security Cinema by Tom Secker and Matthew Alford, and it goes over how they use movies to indoctrinate us into believing in the propaganda, believing into militarization. But at the same time, it also exposes the mass ecocide that these Hollywood industries are a part of when it comes to, blowing stuff up and whatnot. And even then, so when you dig even further, a big portion of the taxes or the military budget, i.e. through the Department of Defense, is given to Hollywood to create these said films to, again, manipulate us, keep us distracted, from what's really going on in the world, which is that our people are being subjugated to atrocities, if I kept it simple. So
tell us the name of that book again, man. We think you're going to have to give us a book report next week.
Put it on the screen.
Yeah, it's
National
called
Security Cinema.
Yeah.
Okay. Matthew Alford and Tom Sector. Okay, word. Definitely appreciate you to our the battle of the dark skinned brothers Ikemba and Bouna. what y'all got going on this weekend, man?
Go ahead, brother. I'll let you go.
Yeah.
Let the lighter brother go first.
So on Saturday, there's a national call for demonstration solidarity with people of Palestine. As you know, the genocide has been going on for too long now. So brothers and sisters, Palestinian brothers and sisters want to keep the dynamic going. It's summertime, so most of the student encampments are no longer functioning. Right. So we have to make sure that people maintain the same level of determination and mobilization that we've witnessed over the past 10 months, right? And there has been a lot of attention has been paid on the recent election in France, where the far-right, white supremacist, neo-Nazi far-right party made an unsuccessful bid to power, despite the fact that all the polls were suggesting otherwise. So a lot of attention has been paid on that and less attention to the genocide in Palestine. So yeah, so I guess the weekend and especially Saturday will enable people to continue expressing solidarity with people of Palestine, right? And yeah, and people are also, preparing the Olympic Games that will start, I believe, next week. So a lot of people are excited. Think, yeah, 26. A lot of people are excited about it. But the government has been spending so much money on it, which I think is a waste, given the priorities. But anyways, there's too much money involved, so we don't actually have a word to say about that. So that's, and like Fernando tried to, dedicate time to family, because with all these shows that you guys have planned for me, I have no time for my family, right? My wife is mad at me, right?
This cat go. He told me all these shows we have planned for him. We asked him what he gonna do. He gave us a full schedule. At 7:00 in the morning.
Again, he comes in with his around the horn, drilled horn report, and gives us, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be on politics. It could be on personal.
I spoke only for 2 minutes. Joe Horn is 40 minutes, right? So it's much shorter report.
Hey, before Brother Ikemba goes real quick, if you don't mind. Mm-hmm. Speaking of all these shows, man, Saturday night, for those of you who understand French, if anybody out there understand French, we got the president of our organization that's going to be on live speaking about Pan-Africanism on the left, because this is a new subject that's been really important now out here in France. It's been coming up because the Senegalese president mentioned he was a Pan-Africanist from the left wing, on the left, left wing. So now there's a lot of talk going on, and not to say some of these black capitalists calling themselves Pan-Africanists and different things like that, but so yeah, they're going to be speaking on that, addressing that Saturday night. So
cool. Well, get some subtitles, man, and perhaps we can air some of it on the platform, and even invite him on. What's his name for folks that know?
Hamzat
Boukari Yabara.
Okay, cool. So I know Ikemba's French is better than mine. So Ikemba, you can tell us what you're going to be doing this weekend in French.
Oui. Yeah. So this weekend, Saturday, I'm going to be doing we usually do a podcast book club Saturday morning, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on the We Charge Colonialism platform. So we'll be doing. I'll be a part of that. Outside of that, man, just with the family. Supposed to be connecting with some comrades as well today, actually, to talk about doing some PE on campus for students, sort of just like setting something up where the students can get some training in this work, community work. A lot of organizations, as we organize, we get on the ground and we organize our community. We usually have to train them, on the job training sort of thing. Right. And so just having something where they can get that training, that preparation. As I'm talking, I'm like, yo, this sounded like 2025 project, man. But this is what we're supposed to be doing. They are doing it, for their cause. And so this is something we're supposed to be doing as well. But we thought of it first, just for the record. But yeah, so we're talking about doing that. But outside of that, just with family, building with family and community, man. There's probably some other things that I can't think of, man.
But that's probably some things you can't say on here because we don't want to get indicted. But so to what you're saying, because one of the things that we're always talking about is political education, and one of the things we'd like to bring to Black Power Media is that pure political education. So for folks who are out there, including the brothers on the screen right now, we challenge you all to take your phone whenever you're at a rally, protest, feel free. We're looking for guerrilla reporters to go out there and interview folks, ask folks 2-3 questions, submit your your footage to us. We'll acknowledge you. If it's something we can use, we'll play it, give you credit, so on and so forth. But we really need to utilize our own propaganda machine. We all have cell phones. Get that camera ready. You know what I'm saying? When you go into your shows, your concerts, when you're out in the community and you just want to talk to the people, whatever, definitely get at it and send that information to us. The email is mediablackpower@gmail.com, mediablackpower@gmail.com. And also to Ikemba's point, if you want to do those live political education classes, you're welcome to utilize the platform. Shout out to We Charge Genocide and Sister Tyranny for
colonialism.
We charge colonialism.
But we charge genocide too. But
without a doubt. Well, right now we're gonna charge this quick Black Power break. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna be right back at you right here on the Rise Up Morning Show. Wake up.
Rise up.
How do you view the role of prisons in society today?
Well, remember back when we were young, and we was back during the Vietnam War, we used to talk about the military-industrial complex. Well, now you have the prison-industrial complex. And you have what is the ultimate solution to America's economic problem. Those who are poor, those who are powerless, those who have no access to the wealth that one needs to survive, and perhaps wealth isn't, but the resources one needs to survive. In an area where there is corporate downsizing and there are no jobs and there is only a service economy and education is being cut, which is the only rung by which people can climb. The only growth industry in this part of Pennsylvania, in the eastern United States, in the southern United States, in the western United States, is quote-unquote corrections, for want of a better word. The corrections industry is booming, and this joint here ain't 5 years old. Some corporations made a mint off of this thing. This thing cost millions of dollars to be built and constructed. But second to that, you have across the United States, for the first time in modern history, you have small rural counties and districts begging the government, build a prison here, please. There was a time when it was, not in my backyard. You better not. I don't want that here. But now they're talking about, jobs. That's the reality. That's the reality that we're working with. And of course, blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Mexicans in the West, and Puerto Ricans in the East, and so-called white trash, poor whites, are the raw material now. We're like the hamburgers in McDonald's. We're the raw material now. We're being fed into this. And what you see in Congress and what you see in state houses are the greasing of the conveyor belt on that, that meat patty line. Because there are no laws anymore. Think about it. When you look at the trend of the law, and analyze the cases, read the cases and see what they're saying, you don't hear anybody talking about, search and seizure, Fourth Amendment, or any other amendment. What you hear in popular discourse on talk radio stations or in the newspaper is lock them up yesterday, or kill them, you see. And it becomes a political, again, an engine feeding an industry, the prison industrial complex, you see. And it is so naked now, so negative now, that as Monica said, you can have over 1.1 million people in this prison, in these prisons. And you have people saying, well, they need to lock up more people. I mean, you have people actually saying that. Of course they don't know what they're talking about, but they're just following a script that has been laid down to them, you know, by the media, by the politicians. When you spoke about, you know, that, I thought about a recent article that was in the New York Times. You may have seen it by Saul Wachtler, who used to be the presiding chief judge of the New York Court of Appeals. And I laughed when I read it. I really did. I had a belly laugh. Because here was a guy who was, for all intents and purposes, a hanging judge. And if somebody, you know, made a claim before his court, well, you gets nothing. Shot people down like, you know, it was fun. But in his article, he talked about the difference between reading a brief about an inmate who sued about the humiliation of strip searching and going through that experience himself, and how devastated he was by it. But every one of those 1.1 million people, and I mean, increasingly, when you look at least across the country now, you don't have to go to prison to go through that humiliation. You can go to your average police station down the block. You know, someone gets arrested for a traffic violation, a ticket, and men and women are being strip searched in every city of America. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, when he was in a position of power, and he could have said, this is unconstitutional, or it violates the same. Doesn't make a claim. Next, denied. And he didn't sense how wrong, how cold-hearted that was, until it was him that had to spread his buttocks. It was him who had to pull his penis back. You understand what I'm saying? It became a whole other reality. You know, Jamaicans have a saying, who feels it, knows it. Well, now he knows it.
Hey, man. Now he knows it, and now you know it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mumia for those powerful, powerful words. We literally had the opportunity to speak to Mumia Abu Jamal yesterday, Thursday. We had the opportunity to speak to him. There's something major that we're working on. I can't speak on right now, but just know it's going to be all arms on deck, all eyes, all, you know, all the listeners, all the viewers. You know, we're going to need your support indeed for something that's being put together that you'll hear about likely next week. Yes, Mumia, what's your thoughts?
If I can go, there's a couple of things. First of all, it's great. It's crazy to hear Mumia, see him like this young, and understanding that today, when I hear him speak today, he's still just as sharp, you know, and he's been behind the cage since 82?
81.
81. Yes. Yeah, it's been years. So he's still just as sharp today, I feel like, when I listen to him speak. But first of all, I think a couple of things from what he was saying. There's so many crazy things that we see happening in our society, you know, in this Western capitalist society. But definitely the fact that people make businesses out of prisons, you know, that what he was speaking on, that's just crazy. That should be enough for all of us to be outside. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes people don't realize how crazy that is, but that's a wild thing that we're living through right now. So I think that's that's important, that what he pointed out there. And then also from, you know, as an Afro-Cuban, Mumia has always been a great inspiration because, you know, in the hip hop movement in Cuba, you know, Nahanda Obiodun used to do like political education classes to a lot of the MCs. You know, unfortunately, I was a little young, but I definitely got that education from some of my peers, you know, the older MCs and everything. And so, you know, it's funny if you go back to like old school Cuban hip hop, like old school, I mean, like maybe like in the 90s, you'll hear a lot of like Free Mumia, you know, in the tracks and all of that. And so definitely that's when I started learning about Mumia. And then I picked up Live from Death Row, you know, one of his books. And so, yeah, definitely Mumia, a great, you know, inspiration.
Where else want to tap in?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else was queued to go. If anybody else wanted to, but no, I wrote 3 things down that resonated like really well for me when watching that video. You know, he talks about how like we have no laws, and we literally just seen that. I mean, the fact that we have we have 2 individuals that are running for quote unquote presidency, both of which, you know, have been brought up on, you know, various charges or allegations of, you know, sexual assault, abuse, misusing of funds and whatnot. We live in a society that is, and it's not a society, it's an occupation. In order for it to be a society, it would have to be civilized. And there's nothing civil about what we see going on in the world, and what this occupation produces outside of, you know, these borders. So when he talks about, you know, the meat patty line and in the context of the prison industrial complex, and you know how he said, well, we used to talk about the military industrial complex. Well, all of these complexes work in reciprocity to keep one thing afloat: white hegemony. So we have to look at the same way that we look at the military industrial complex. We have to look at the prison industrial complex as that same aesthetic that upholds the values and upholds the physical constraints on our people's liberation, which is white hegemony. So that would just be my thoughts. I mean, we're going to be seeing Mumia again in these clips, you know, as I'm the one who kind of creates them and whatnot, and gets the inspiration from, you know, the guys that you see on the screen. It's a team effort to get these Break for Black Power, you know, segments going. So no, I think Mumia is someone who is from a journalist perspective, because I am a journalist as well. It says a lot to know that even an individual who has been behind, you know, confined to these types of this type of behavior from the state, is still able to uplift people, is still able to at the same time produce work throughout the years, and work with other activists, work with other Pan-Africanists and revolutionaries. And so I think we need to look at Mumia the same way that we look at someone who is outside of the constraints of the prison system, because they do just as much as someone who isn't. So that would be like my closing remarks on that. I'm again, you know, dope revolutionary and elder, and would love to, you know, get him on the show someday. So
yeah, definitely will. Anybody else before we push it along? Bouna, Ikemba?
Yeah, like did you go ahead, brother?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, like you know, Mumia, I think one of the, you know, the frustrations that I have with Mumia being behind bars is, and I understand like we're under you know, this colonial state that's waging war on African people, so it makes sense, you know, to keep Mumia, for them to keep Mumia behind bars. But it just, you know, it just raises a serious contradiction with the system, man, because of the war, again, going back to the war that has been and continues to be waged on Africans, and Mumia just stood up against it. You know, he's behind bars for standing up against the system of oppression and exploitation. The amount of people that the state has killed, you know, our freedom fighters, man, from Fred Hampton, you know, who are some others, man? You know, I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah,
Bunchy Carter.
Yeah, Bunchy Carter, John Huggins, yes.
Yeah.
Walter Rodney,
on
Walter
an international level, yeah.
Patrice
Lumumba.
Lumumba, Steve Biko, Sankara. I mean,
when
the
you
list
think
goes
about
on.
that,
Chris
they
Honey.
haven't been held accountable for any of these assassinations and these murders. Both Mumia is behind bars, for allegedly, Mumia didn't do it. Mumia should be free. But that's how the state operates. But just real quick, he had mentioned the piece on education and how education is a means of sort of just having access to resources and wealth. And so, and that puts us in a predicament where we have to go through the system of indoctrination to be able to survive, right? They make it that way. And again, when we make this analysis, I always look at it at the problem. Like when we talk about the problem, the solution is there, and how we have to have control over education. But when we look at how Black children, African children, are being undereducated, in our communities that's underdeveloped, right? And so we have that cycle where you have and I've read, there was a report, they talked about by the 4th grade, they know how many children, based on their reading level, how many of those children are going to be incarcerated by the time they become adults. And they said 2/3. Right. And our children, African children, only 15% are reading proficiently. So 85% of our children that's in the 4th grade are at risk. Why are we letting them educate our children? We setting them up for failure, man. But there's a lot of other things because he talked about the jobs and all of that, but I don't want to, go on too much. But that really stood out to me for sure.
No doubt. Bouna?
Yeah, first of all, I need to appreciate the work that Kalonji, especially Kalonji, the work you've been doing for decades now. I mean, I knew Black Power Media through the work that you were doing on political prisoners, which I think the importance of that work has been underestimated. I don't know how organized the Black community in the US is regarding that problem of political prisoners, but I think it should be one of our main priorities. Because as Brother Ikemba said, many of our leaders have been killed, but I don't know any revolutionary leader, an African leader, whether in the continent or in the diaspora, hasn't been in jail. Right? All the people that we're referring to as leaders, whether it is, Marcus Garvey, Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, Nelson Mandela, Chris Hani, and many due to September, and many others, all of them have been to jail, right?
Yes.
So Mumia, to me, embodies the spirit of African resistance, okay? The resilience of our people, which some of us tend to underestimate because we've been brainwashed into thinking that the only way for salvation, especially as people of the diaspora, is to submit to a system that is oppressing our own people, right? A system that will, put you in jail if you expose it, if you denounce how it works. But it also, I think, should be a wake-up call also for all of us living in the diaspora, because we're facing a real dilemma, which is getting, bits of privileges from the system and conforming to whatever the system is imposing, or making sacrifices to set our people free. And I think in that regard, Mumia, Jama, Jamil Alamin, Sekou Odinga, rest in power, Dr. Mutulu Shakur, and all those political prisoners, of course, Assata Shakur, and all those political prisoners, they have actually sacrificed their life for us to be free, right? So I think the least we can do is to show gratitude whenever we can, and also be involved in a more determined and sustainable way in the fight to free them, because if they're not free, none of us will be free. And I just wanted to conclude very briefly on what really struck me was I was listening to the Horn report, by the way, Ojore Horn, last week, and he was mentioning a survey that was done by the Pew Research Center, which it was suggested that most Black people in the US think that the government is plotting against them, right? Government of the US is plotting against them, which, investigators of the Pew Research Center suggested was reflected the conspiracy theories, okay, within the Black community. But this made me think that the Black community are very realistic about what to expect from the US government, And listening to Mumia also reminds us why we should, fight the system that has been oppressing us, despite the fact that a minority, very few people are benefiting from it.
No, that's definitely. I appreciate the analysis. I appreciate the fact, and I hope that our audience does too. That we can we're not just talking heads. We are organizers, of course, but not only organizers. We are serious about our political education and what we're doing here at the Rise Up Morning Show and at Black Power Media and the various podcasts that these brothers are also a part of. Is we are trying, our effort is not trying, but we are utilizing what we call creative resistance, because we recognize that creative resistance is important. We got as our sister Ife, who will be back next week, spoke about the other day, we have to make, we got to make our movement fly. She used the word sexy. That's not my necessarily word. I ain't calling none of y'all sexy, but we want to make sure that, we make our movement real fly. We want people to be involved. And oftentimes people don't know how to organize. To Ikemba's point, about, going out and teaching and politicizing, you don't have to have red, black, and green drawers on, you know what I'm saying, and look a certain way in order for you to be effective or impactful. And that's not to knock anyone's decor, but you can't expect people to win people over if you are walking around some damn dusty boots and looking like you just walked out of a damn trash pile, out of a trash heap. Now, if you on some guerrilla shit and you looking like, we're in the war zone and all that, I ain't saying that you gotta be cute for it. I'm just saying that when we're trying to attract the masses, we got to meet the people where they are. One of the things that we utilize, we talked about hip hop a few days ago. The opening song to this morning show, Fernando, and what's the name of your group? I'm sorry, brother.
340 MS.
340 MS. You know what I mean? That's the intro. The outro is our sister Ife. You know what I mean? So we're utilizing the skills and talents that we have. This whole production right here, we didn't go hire someone. You know what I mean? We said, well, what do we need? And how do we work collectively in order to bring about the results? You know what I'm saying? So again, we thank the listeners. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. And join our email list, which is at blackpowermedia.org. I think it's time for some news or something, because there's a lot of crazy shit going on out there. So, what we got on the table.
I believe Bouna is up with the Argentina story regarding some really, really racist ass shit that we can break down principally.
Yeah.
So let me pull the video up for you guys.
Racist shit coming from Argentina is not a surprise.
No, it's not. Historically speaking.
I thought racism ended with Obama, man.
Can we hear them sing in Spanish? I don't know if the views will be.
I didn't put the audio. Audio on it because it had the subtitles. But if you could start off by just kind of explaining.
Yeah. So I wanted to start with a quote. It's a quote from someone that probably most of our viewers will not be familiar with. But anyways, I would just quote him. So he says, "I want to apologize sincerely for a video posted on my Instagram channel during the national team celebration. The song includes highly offensive language, and there is absolutely no excuse for these words. I stand against discrimination in all forms and apologize for getting caught up in the euphoria of our Copa America celebration. That video, that moment, those words do not reflect my beliefs or my character. I'm truly sorry." Okay, so this guy's name, the one that you can see on the screen, his name is Enzo Fernandez. He's one of the most highly rated midfielders in soccer globally. He's from Argentina. He plays for Chelsea Football Club in the UK, England. So a few years ago, he became one of the most expensive midfielders in history because he was transferred from Portugal, I believe it was Benfica or Porto, to Chelsea Football Club for over $130 million. So just to give you an idea. of how expensive he is and how highly rated he is. So he's referring to a celebration that they made on the day that Argentina won the Copa America for a second time in a row, and they faced Colombia. Okay,
Yeah.
which is ironic because Argentina is an all-white team. Can you pause that for a bit? That video.
Yeah, you said pause it.
Yeah. Okay. So the song that he was singing, okay, was a song that was originally coined by Argentina fans during the World Cup in Qatar, okay, in which they were using highly derogatory and offensive terms when they were referring to black players of the French national team. Okay, can you restart the video, please, Isaac, from the beginning, so people can see the other one.
Okay.
Sorry.
The other one. These are
the
Argentinian
second one.
fans. These are Argentinian fans.
So they're talking about the French players. They said that. Okay, so this is the part when he said censored.
Well, it's a silent still, so it's gonna play. So you can,
Yeah, it's gonna play.
Yeah, but I wanted to get the other video first. They were saying, so it was live on Argentina national television, right? So they were interviewed before the final, okay? So the journalist said, is there a song that you want to sing for the final? And they were saying that basically that the French national team is made up of people who are French by passport, but they all come from Africa, Angola, for example, Mbappe, who is the star of the team.
For those who don't know, real quick, Bouna, for those who may not know, on the French national team, there's a lot of brothers on the French soccer national team.
Yeah. So they reached the final. Okay, so here's the song. They say, listen, tell everybody they play in France, but they all come from Angola. How cute, running together. They all fucking like son of a bitch, Mbappe. Sorry for the swear words. His mom is Nigerian and his dad is Cameroonian. Yet he has French nationality. Anyway, so this is the song that this Enzo Fernandez was singing. And when his teammates were singing the same song, they realized that he was making a blunder. They say, because he was going live on Instagram. Okay. They say, cut it off. So he cut it off, but it was too late. Okay. So some of his teammates in Chelsea Football Club, including some black French players, they got upset. Okay. Many of them, they unfollowed him on Twitter and Instagram. And also the Chelsea Football Club had to come up with a statement, okay, saying that they will implement some disciplinary measures against this guy. So he had to come up with this apology, which I think was written by his PR advisors. Anyways, I don't think he's sincere at all. But what I wanted to say is that it's only a reflection of how racist, how anti-black the Argentinian society is.
Yes.
Think about this. This guy is suggesting that the French players are not truly French because they come from Africa. Okay, we can argue that, because some idiots have been suggesting that is true, but that's not the main point. These guys are born in Argentina, so they're Argentinian citizens. Okay, so they don't see the paradox, okay, of calling the French, the black players of in France, okay, of calling them foreigners, okay, people who are not from the land, whereas they are themselves the nation that was built on the eradication of the blacks and the indigenous. If you look at Argentine national team, it's the only team in South America that has only whites. Okay, but his racism reflects the anti-black racism of the Argentinian society. So here you have video of tens of thousands of people in one of the most popular football teams in Buenos Aires, which is the capital of Argentina. It's called River Plate. So as you can see in the song, they also use very derogatory terms, not referring to the black players of France, okay, but referring to black people in general. Okay, they're saying like the players of Boca Junior, they're all black boys, sorry for using the words, coming from Bolivia in Paraguay. What do Bolivia and Paraguay have in common? But we can also include Brazil, what do they have in common? They have more blacks than in Argentina. Okay, so to them, being black is something that is totally disgusting. Okay, that's why this player has been singing that song, and I'm curious to know how many of his teammates were singing the same song. But anyways, my point was that we have to pay very careful attention to anti-blackness in South America, how deep it is, how profound, and how how it has been accepted by the society, because we also have brothers and sisters there who are fighting against this anti-black racism, but who do not necessarily get the attention that they deserve, right? So Enzo Fernandez is speaking on behalf or singing on behalf of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Argentinians. Yeah. So I think this is an opportunity for us to express more solidarity or build stronger bonds with our brothers and sisters in Argentina. I know there's a language barrier, but I think this is something that we should overcome, because at the end of the day, there are much more blacks in South America than in North America, or even in Europe, by that matter, right? So in Brazil, for example, is the second country with the largest black population after Nigeria, right? So this is the message I want to convey today. Sorry for being a bit long, but yeah, I think it's important for us to build connections with our brothers, Spanish or Portuguese-speaking brothers and sisters in South America, because they've been carrying out a fight that is important, that is often overlooked including in our Pan-African organization.
Yeah, if I can jump in real quick, like right now we don't have the audio, but it's really the entire stadium. It's crazy. It's like
tens of thousands of people.
Tens of thousands of people singing that together. Wow. So like Bouna said, it really reflects their society,
and they're very happy.
Yeah, they're happy. They're jumping up and down, and
they're all smiling, dancing, jumping up.
I think it's important to it's definitely anti-blackness, but I would call it more anti-Africanness.
Yeah,
because I think in South America, it's not only about it's not just about having melanated skin. It's really anti-Africanness, because there's a lot of, for example, in South America there are many shades to these. There are many shades of people, right? And they describe us. They have 1,000 different words just to say black, basically, right? But what people do in society is that they try to get away from being African as much as possible in South America. And so it's crazy what you will see, what people will go to in order to not be called African. They would rather be called anything but African. They'll call themselves Indian, mestizo, whatever, mulatto, whatever, but they do not want to be African. And so I think that's important to point that out. And there's still a lot of concepts in South America until this day, like when you speak about good hair, all this crazy stuff, that's still very active today. When you speak about, they have this term called adelantar la raza, which means basically advancing the race. And it's about being as light as possible, being as white as possible, and it's seen as something positive, and they'll come up to you and be like, oh yeah, if a person marries with someone lighter or someone white, they'll be like, oh yeah, you're advancing. They'll speak about that as something positive. So like Bouna said, it's important, because there's still a lot of our people out there that's in the struggle, that understand that know what time it is, just like we do, but they don't have a voice. They don't have a voice. They're not really heard of, whether it's Colombia, like Bouna said, Brazil is the country outside of Africa with the most African people, right? Brazil, the struggle is everywhere, all throughout South America. But and speaking of that, shout out to our brother, our comrade Abui, and the Fourth International, the Fourth International Pan-Africanist movement.
Leticia Rodriguez, who is the coordinator in Argentina. They have a review that is called Black Folks, Gente Negra, which was launched recently. I think it was in April this year, by our comrade Dana. And for those, just want to cut quickly, for those who are interested, this is not new in the history of Argentina. Actually, if you go on YouTube, there was a game, I think it was in the 1990s, in the mid-1990s, where Colombia, the squad of Colombia, the soccer squad, they defeated Argentina at home. I think they were qualifying for the World Cup. 5-0, okay, in Argentina. And while they were playing, the Argentinians at the beginning, they were saying in Spanish, los colombianos son todos negros, son todos putos. The Colombians are all blacks, okay? They're all bitches. Okay, sorry for the offensive words, but this is something
that's all good.
they were singing live. Okay, actually, if you watch the game, okay, at least the goals you can see them. But the more the Colombians were scoring goals, the quieter the Argentinians were. At the end, they were totally silent, right? So, yeah. And the last thing I want to say, very quickly, if you don't do the work of linking up with our brothers and sisters in South America, because they are the most disadvantaged, they are the most underprivileged, they are the poorest section of the population, that work will be done by US-funded agencies, okay? Because unfortunately, there are a lot of NGOs who claim that they're fighting for the rights of Afro-descendant people, but actually they're just making sure that whatever they're doing is not, incompatible with US imperial interests. So if you go on the internet, I'm not going to give websites, you can find a lot of African organizations that are funded by the Ford Foundation, USAID, and all those US funded institutions that are aimed at channeling the kind of political struggle they're carrying out. I spoke too much, so I'll give the floor to whatever want to speak. Right.
No, but what you're saying is important. Some of our brothers and sisters down there, they really don't have a voice. And so whoever is going to come out and be like, listen, give them a little bit of a voice. Some of them sometimes may not have the political education to understand, or they may be in a certain situation where they don't really have another option. And they'll be like, okay. And it'll be like some type of right-wing media or whatever that's giving them a hand. So they won't understand why they're doing it. They'll just be like, okay, this is. So that's why we have to be in solidarity with our African people worldwide. We know that, but our
we have to give us. I hope the black teammates and black fans of Chelsea will give this guy Enzo Fernandez a very special treatment when he comes back to England. Right? I'm not advocating violence, of course, but if he gets his jaw broken or both his legs broken by somebody else, if it's an accident. Well, I won't be very sad. It's just chickens coming home to roost, right?
Chickens coming home to roost is what we'll call that. Comrade down below, you want to tune in, chime in on this?
Man, I just know Argentina, man. Argentina was a safe haven for Nazis.
I was just about to get into that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, when you break it down even further, there's this thing called Pan-Americanism. Have you guys heard of this?
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys familiar with it?
Yeah.
Okay, they used to hold Pan-American conferences, and these were again to eradicate people of color, melanated people, the indigenous population of these nations, these said nations, which is Argentina, Bolivia, all of South America. It was all taken through settler colonialism and then encompassed into their own caste systems, individual caste systems, which is why we see at the bottom of every caste system is our people, is indigenous people. To individuals that are out there that are thinking, Abraham Lincoln was making phone calls and was a part of this Pan-American conference and this league of individuals, and was making phone calls to what would be sending our people to another country after the Emancipation Proclamation. So when we look at South America, when we look at these individuals that you can't say are innocent, you can't say don't know what they're doing, they are bred to think and be indoctrinated to act this way, and it's bred through that Pan-American, and Pan-American is bullshit. It's all that is white hegemony.
Exactly.
That's all that is. It's just a different branded term. It's given a different name. So, when we have to stand in solidarity with indigenous people of South America with 3Ks, we have to stand in solidarity the same way that we do with my indigenous people here on Turtle Island. So this is all intrinsically connected, and I'm glad, Bouna, that you guys you know, that you were able to find this and we're able to clip it up and put it on here for people to see that, you know, we as a diaspora deal with white hegemony all over. It's infected the whole entire globe. And so that's why things like the Rise Up Morning Show are essential, because we can put ourselves in a position to break this down from 4 different you know, regions internationally and break this down. So I see that our main host is here, Kalonji. Did you have any thoughts on this?
I'm not the main host. I'm just here so I won't get fined. I mean, you know, I'm watching it, and you know, I would say it's sickening, but it's you know, it's white hegemony as usual. You know what I'm saying? This is what they do. As you mentioned, this is why it's important for us to have a international morning show like we have right now, because oftentimes, you know, and for the record, we're not going to just be here to play on entertainment, so on and so forth. Our criticisms are real. You know what I'm saying? They are authentic. We want folks to know, like, here's what they think of you. Like Ice Cube would say back in the day, here's what they think of you. You know what I mean? This is how they feel about you, not just in the US, because oftentimes, you know, we're under some foolish notion that we have to get out of the US. I'm moving somewhere else. Wherever Europeans are, wherever white supremacy dwells, wherever black folks and white folks are in the same proximity, oftentimes white folks are running shit. You know what I'm saying? And even in movement circles, you know what I mean? I've seen situations where by default, folks who lack political education, they'll run behind some white folks just because they're white. They assume that they know what to do. I was telling a comrade of mine recently about how I spoke at a certain university some years ago. And they had this white dude that basically was paid to talk about white folks. You know what I mean? So, you know, he put it this way. He ended up getting paid about $27,000 more than I did. I got paid nowhere near what he was paid. Wow. So it was my turn to get up there to speak. And I spoke about that. You know what I mean? You want to talk about white supremacy? I'm not impressed for this white boy to tell you what we already know. You think I don't know we fucked up? We the OVs, we're the original victims of white supremacy. We don't need you to sum up what the situation is. I said, you know, if you really want to impress me, then this white boy should be doing this for free. You know what I mean? This check that he's getting, what community are you putting it back into? Oh, the white community. You understand what I'm saying? It's going back into his community. So afterwards, he comes to try to walk up to me, and I just walk away. I'm like, we don't have nothing to talk about unless you're telling me that check you're getting, you don't have to give it to me. I can care less. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that even black folks, this was a black student organization, even they felt the need and the desire to get somebody white because white folks' ice is colder. Their water is wetter. You understand what I'm saying? So they assume that because they're saying it, if they say it, then it's official. We don't need none of that. So indeed, for us to watch this, I would say it's sickening, but it's business as usual. We're not surprised. It's not like we on here. We're not outraged. You know, we're not in an uproar. We're not upset. We're not gonna say we're gonna boycott that particular team. I don't watch these motherfuckers anyway. You know what I mean? So by default. But what I do want to do is I also want to show the contradictions, because here it is, these white boys and this whole stadium full of white folks who are chanting these racist ass statements and their sentiments and their feelings. I want to see, what are some of our athletes doing? You have folks like Patrick Beverly. Let's talk about that. What's he doing? What is his contribution? Because he's a black athlete. So surely he's fighting for black folks, right? Surely he's playing somewhere in Harlem or Brooklyn or in the barrios or somewhere representing his culture. Is that what we're going to see? Can we get some Pat Beverly information up here?
I hope so. I hope he's playing for the right team. Is he playing for the right team? I hope so
too. I mean, he got to be.
Isaac got something to say about that.
Isaac's on mute. That's how mad Isaac is. Isaac muted himself.
Hey, and
Dad,
really,
I'm over here looking for the article right now. If you can,
yeah, I was going to say.
yeah, just start us off while I get this article lined up first.
Well, I ain't going to start with the Pat Bev. I just wanted to end with this, as far as South America, because the theme for both, when Bouna was speaking and Fernando was speaking, the theme was just connecting with our African brothers and sisters in South America, and Malcolm was emphasizing that right on the eve of his assassination. He was emphasizing that, and he said, February 16th, days before this government took him out with the help of some other folks. He said, no one since Garvey has attempted to do this, to connect the African brothers in the United States with the African brothers and sisters with the African brothers and sisters in the Caribbean and in South America, right? And he came up with a program to do that, right? And, as Dr. John Henry Clark, said, a dream was deferred when he was assassinated, but it doesn't mean that we can't bring that into fruition, though. That's what we supposed to be doing. So, let's carry on that message, man.
No doubt.
Oh, look, Kalonji's already on, and I'm over here stressing because I don't got the damn thing up.
Can I say something very quickly?
Please do.
Yeah. So I want to say, just to build on what Kalonji has said, these white folks who are singing these songs, they're not ignorant. Okay, they know what they're doing. I think Isaac has also insisted on that point. They know what they're doing. And a lot of people in this controversy, they have missed the main point. The main point is not whether the black players of the French national team are genuinely French or not. We don't care about that. Okay, that's not the issue. The main issue is that when our people are being attacked, okay, based on their skin color, what is the response of black people? Okay, whether in sports, whether in politics, whether in media, we don't care about the black players of France. The issue is not to know whether they are truly French or not. We don't care about that. We're all African first. Okay,
right, right.
But who are these white supremacist players who are the descendants of settlers? Okay, who eradicated the indigenous and the black people who were living in Argentina. At the beginning of the 19th century, 20% of the Buenos Aires population, 20% of the capital was black. Okay, this is something that is often forgotten, right? So the main point is that whenever our people are getting attacked this way, we have to stand as one, not only when it is made public by the media, when it gets media attention, but it has to be done every day. Because in South America, they have a long tradition of resisting not only slavery, but then racial discrimination and segregation, and whitewashing as well, as Fernando has mentioned.
Was that a response to someone in the chat?
No, it was not a response to someone in the chat. I think there are some fake accounts. We might get some of those.
You got some bird.
I think there are some. I assume that those are fake accounts of people who are saying, no, why are you getting upset? This guy is only saying the truth. These Mbappe and all those players that come from Africa, everybody knows they're coming from Africa. But if you look at the way they're singing, they're depicting them like animals. Okay, you have to run. You have to run and grab the ball, right? You come right from the boat in Africa, you have to run. And think of this. This guy has a lot of, and not only Enzo Fernandez, but all his teammates, they have all black teammates. Okay, but now we know what they think really about those black teammates. And one of the, unfortunately, I say unfortunately because the guy is from Senegal. Yeah, it's shameful. One of his teammates has come up with a story on Instagram saying that Enzo Fernandez cannot be racist because he plays with black kids.
Oh yeah.
That guy is from Senegal. Yeah. He posted a picture of him and Enzo Fernandez, training together. He said, "This guy is my teammate. I know him." And he posted another picture of Enzo Fernandez. Playing with a black kid. Okay, I won't say the name of that player. Okay, his name
we
is
know about
Nicola Jackson. Okay, if you remember that name. He's from Senegal.
Listen,
That's
man.
why it's so shameful. And so, I feel, a bit very uncomfortable that a Senegalese guy is coming with that kind of explanation. Anyway.
I love when they say crazy shit like, he can't be racist because he lives in Africa. He can't be racist because such and such, blah, blah, blah. I had a white woman tell me one day, I was telling her about how racist she was. And she's going to tell me, talking about something. I have black children. I said, so does Thomas Jefferson. What the fuck does that mean?
No doubt. That's a good one.
You think that because you have black kids, you can't be racist? I live in Atlanta where we see oftentimes you have these white couples that want to go adopt some children from the continent or from the diaspora, and they trot them around to their little events as if they're exotic animals or plants or some shit. You understand what I'm saying? So the thing is, we don't get caught up on that. So, I know that there are some well-to-do white folks, and we have some white comrades who are serious about their work. Let's not get twisted. But at the same time, you can hear from me. We can work together. You can come around, so on and so forth. But please understand that you don't run shit. You understand what I'm saying? You can get involved in this people's liberation movement, but we don't take the order. We don't take orders from white folks. You understand what I'm saying? And if you're sincere, if you're true about what it is, then you will understand. You'll say, listen, okay, boom. We understand what you all have been through. We respect that position. So we're going to get in under this black leadership, under African leadership. And it don't mean you just follow any black person because they black. In the mortal words of Imam Jamil Al-Amin, to be black is necessary, but it ain't sufficient. I wouldn't follow certain people to the damn bathroom. You know what I'm saying? To an exit sign. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we got to be clear. This story right here, it speaks for itself because that dumbass look on his face alone.
Right.
Yeah. This story for me. So let me just give you background context from a basketball perspective, and I think this is where like me and Fernando are probably gonna go ham. Good basketball player from a defensive perspective. We're not
real quick,
about...
right? Hey, Isaac, my bad. Let me just say real quick. Soon as I seen this was going on, I sent it to Isaac, and Isaac was like, "I'm live in 2 hours." He was already ready. He had the thumbnail. He was good to go.
Hey, listen. Speaking of that, real quick before you even go there, Trump got shot. Somebody sent me the link saying, "Yo, Trump got shot." I'm talking about it must have been 5 minutes after it went live. They sent me a video, a link, and it was Indigenous Nightmare. Isaac was on it. I'm like, God damn.
Isaac was on it.
I was like, damn, was he there? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I was about to call everybody. Like, oh shit, Isaac shot Trump. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, from a basketball perspective, analytics, just talent-wise, we're not knocking his talent. This move right here is the last straw when it comes to like trying to have a little bit of room to wiggle with when it comes to trying to understand motherfuckers like that. How the hell do you see people be fucking blown to pieces, whole ass babies being burned, and you go and think that the bright ass idea is for me to go and sign with not one, but with two teams that are actively involved in a fucking genocide? Excuse my French.
Is that French, guys?
Close, it's close.
At the same time, he, in the same video, because I watched the premiere where he talks about this, where he talks about it, and his co-host, who's a Trump supporter, his name is Roan. He's a white boy. I've already talked about when you have, Kalonji just brung it up. His show, Pat Bev's show, is not Pat Bev's show. It's Roan, and somehow, some way, we get a little bit of Pat Beverly in there. That's what that podcast is. It's all based off of the white boy asking him what questions need to be asked, and then him throwing in his part, talking about, oh, there's a war going on over there. It's a fucking genocide, you idiot. But you wouldn't see it that way because that's not how individuals like you think and operate. I don't really want to spend too much time on this because I'd love to have some time to spend on our African brothers and sisters that are going through an active genocide as well in Sudan. So, to keep it short, this is not surprising. It's not surprising. This is what happens when you align yourself with white hegemony, when you say you feel bad for Trump almost getting shot. You know, that he's a proud American. These are his words, not mine. You know, that he's a proud American. These are individuals that we need to watch out for. And this is what also makes liberation so fucking hard, because we got ignorant assholes like this that get money and they think they can just talk, you know, and they know everything because they have all these connections. Well, here's a connection for you, Pat Beverly. I'm gonna send this link to your chef because your chef follows me. So how about that? So thank you.
Hey, listen, man. All this time, people, there's people that's checking it out. That's like, oh man, we thought Isaac was the quiet, polite one. You know what I'm saying? Isaac just lost it. He like, F that, and furthermore, you know, Fernando, you got anything to say as a veteran ball player? You're not going to Israel to play, are you?
No.
Okay, we had to check, make sure.
Not yet.
No, I'm done, man. I'm playing with the little amateur squads here in French now, man.
Okay.
I'm getting up there in age.
You like Dwight Howard in the Philippines. You just win championship after championship.
Dwight Howard is still getting a big check, man. I'm just getting. They just hooked me up with a place to work, and you know.
You just dunking on them out there for no reason. Dunking on sixth graders.
No. But Isaac broke it down, man. You know, it's just. But I'm not surprised from Pat Bev. He hasn't shown me any type of, you know, any type of consciousness, anything like that. You know, a lot of these cats, they don't care, man. They're gonna go where the bag is, and unfortunately, that's part of, you know, that's kind of part of this get the bag culture that we're going through right now. You know, in these days and times, you know, people are like, anything is justified as long as you're getting money. You know, we hear people talk like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yesterday.
Yeah, it's disgusting, but it's a reality that's going on. A lot of people live by that. You know, I'm hearing a lot of people talk like that, and they're like, "Yeah, well, he's getting a bag, so it's supposed to be justifiable."
But not really understanding where that bag comes from. That bag, those bands, those however many millions of dollars is funneled through taxpayers' dollars that are then sent to Israel for them to do whatever the fuck they want. They got free healthcare over there. Do we have free healthcare? No. I had to watch my grandmother now go through complications of not being able to get medication, but these bastards abroad, you know, get monthly fucking stipends so that they can have free healthcare. That's the type of world that we live in. Is it's only free for those who conform. Okay, they conform. They're fucking fascists. They're Zionists. They're Nazis, and they're trying to genocide a people to try and justify their existence. So, you know, when it comes to him, man, like it's like what Bouna said. They know exactly what they're doing. He like people see it for themselves, you know. So I'll keep it there.
They do know. They're not ignorant to it. They don't care. Or they rationalize it, you know, through your European talking points. But I think when it comes to, again, I get frustrated from a lot of things, but when it comes to what Pat Bev is doing and all of these athletes, I'm not surprised that it reminds me of a conversation that I had with a brother. I'm in the community organizing. I'm talking to a brother. He listening to me give my rap, and at the end he was like, man, he's like, you believe in the movement? He's like, you believe in this organization? I'm like, yeah, I do. And he gave me his feelings about everything. He said, hey, like, it's not that I disagree with it, but he looked at like these athletes and all of these people with money, and he's like, yo, nobody cares. He's like, because they have the resources, and if they really cared, our communities wouldn't be like this. And so, you know, he's just looking at the Pat Bevs and the LeBron James, and like, he's like, where are they at? They know what's going on. Why are they not in these communities stopping? So he said, man, the only thing I'm worried about, he was holding his baby. He said, the only thing I'm worried about is my baby. He's like, I got a strap. He's like, I'm just protecting mine.
But that's how they get us.
But that's how it's, you know, people are just disillusioned, you know, from even ourselves. They're looking at they're looking at brothers and sisters who quote unquote made it out the ghetto and is not coming back, right? And so, you know, that's the pet bed. That's why I don't take none of them seriously when they talk about the Black community. And when it affects them, they want to talk about Black people, but they don't really care, because if they did, we will be seeing them in our communities. It's only when it affects them. So don't tell me about racism that's happening on the basketball court and with the owners and all of that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the same thing is happening to the worker at Walmart and at Target. You know, are you speaking up for them?
And I just want to add in there too briefly. Me and Fernando on Monday are going to be going over potentially what a post-revolutionized basketball league could look like. It's something that we're just going over. So I just thought I'd throw that in there since we're talking about this is basketball.
On the Indigenous Nightmare Network.
On the Indigenous Nightmare Network. And I think at this point it would only be fitting for it to be on Black Power Media as well. So we're going to make that happen as well.
Let's make it happen, man. We ain't scared. Scared get a dog or a big gun or a knife, or you scared join the FTP movement because we're gonna have one of our brothers on as a guest. Matter of fact, we're gonna bring him on today. We're tired of playing with y'all. Anyway, but before we do that, we need to take a quick break because we know y'all are nervous out there. So we want to go ahead and do this break because you know these guys over here, they not shut down everything. Isaac lost his mind. He's like, these motherfuckers, such. Isaac got proper with his cursing. He's like,
Isaac was going in.
Yeah, I was about to leave. I'm like, shit, I don't even like basketball anymore.
I don't even like basketball.
Or football. Like
football, soccer, whatever you want to call it. Highlight, whatever. Anyway, we're going to take this quick break for Black Power, and we're going to be back to you with a very special guest to continue a conversation we started yesterday. We're checking out the Rise Up Morning Show International. Let's get it.
Few speeches have marked our history as much as that given by the Congolese Prime Minister Patrice Lumumba on June 30th, 1960, the day the Congo achieved its independence. This speech could be considered the birth of modern Congo, a country that was then emerging from 80 years of colonialism and which looked with confidence to its future. In Africa, this speech is considered one of the key moments in propelling the continent onto the international stage. And in the West, many have seen it as a call to arms, opening up Belgian-Congolese hostilities, plunging this former Belgian colony into chaos. A chaos marked by the fall of the Lumumba government in 1960, and the following year by the assassination of the man considered in Congo to be the country's first national hero.
Combattants de l'indépendance, aujourd'hui victorieux, je vous salue au nom du gouvernement congolais. À vous tous, mes amis, qui avez lutté sans relâche à nos côtés, je vous demande de faire de ce 30 juillet 1960 une date illustre que vous garderez ineffaçablement gravée dans vos cœurs, une date dont vous enseignerez avec fierté la signification à vos enfants, pour que ceux-ci, à leur tour, fassent connaître à leurs fils et à leurs petits-fils l'histoire glorieuse de notre lutte pour la liberté. La République du Congo a été proclamée et notre cher pays est maintenant entre les mains de ses propres enfants. Ensemble, mes frères, mes sœurs, nous allons commencer une nouvelle lutte sublime qui va mener notre pays à la paix, à la prospérité et à la grandeur. Nous allons établir ensemble la justice sociale et assurer que chacun reçoive la juste rémunération de son travail. Nous avons connu les ironies, les insultes, les coups que nous devions subir matin, midi et soir, parce que nous étions des nègres. Qui oubliera qu'à un noir, on disait tu, non certes comme à un ami, mais parce que les voix honorables étaient réservés aux seuls blancs. Nous avons connu que nos terres furent spoliées au nom des textes prétendument légaux qui ne faisaient que reconnaître les droits du plus fort. Nous avons connu que la loi n'était jamais la même, selon qu'il s'agissait d'un blanc ou d'un noir, accommodante pour les uns, cruelle inhumaine pour les autres. Nous avons connu les souffrances atroces des relégués pour opinion politique ou croyances religieuses. Exilés dans leur propre patrie, leur sort était vraiment pire que la mort elle-même. Nous avons connu qu'il y avait dans les villes des maisons magnifiques pour les blancs et des paillotes croulantes pour les noirs. Que les noirs n'étaient admis dans les cinémas, ni dans les restaurants, ni dans les magasins européens. Que les noirs voyageaient à même la coque de péniche, au pied du blanc dans sa cabine de luxe. Où périt tant de nos frères. Les cachons furent brutalement jetés, ceux qui ne voulaient plus se soumettre au régime d'injustice, d'oppression et d'exploitation. Cette indépendance du Congo, si elle est proclamée aujourd'hui dans l'attente avec la Belgique, pays ami avec qui nous traitons d'égal à égal, ni les Congolais d'une de ces noms ne pourra jamais oublier.
All right.
What's happening, good people? We are live and direct. This is Rise Up Morning Show. We're in the building. We got my man, he just popped up on the screen, my man Doc Pegins in the building. Dexter Doc Pegins. What's happening, Dex? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, brother? Brothers?
Peace. How you doing?
Right,
hey,
all right.
We definitely appreciate you tapping in. I know we hit you up last minute. Let me see if we can get you right over here. But yeah, we been a lot going on, and I wanted to call on some of our experts, right? As you know, first of all, let me give you a proper introduction. Excuse me, I'm acting like everybody already knows you because they probably do. You know what I mean? Doc's probably the most famous person on here right now. We're just gonna say that. Start with that. This is one of my comrades, one of my brothers right here, Doc Dexter Pegins. He actually is over the founder of Still Standing LLC. That's his company. He is a combat medic, amongst other things. He's a combat medic, I believe, for 26 years. Is that correct?
23
years. And what he's done is he's taken lessons learned and brought it to the community and taught on so many different levels. He's one of the brothers that helped to qualify and certify us in becoming immediate responders. He's now a member of our organization, FTP Movement. We're definitely absolutely proud to stand with him. So, I want to introduce you all to my man, Dexter Doc Pegins. Doc, for folks who are not familiar, if you don't mind, give them a little bit of taste of a resume. I did some broken version, but I'm sure you can, you know better than I do.
Not a problem, Kalonji. I appreciate it, brother. And I just want to say good afternoon to all you guys, brothers. Thank you for the opportunity just to allow me to come on, just say a little bit, but just a little bit about myself, like Kalonji just mentioned. My name is Dexter Pegins. Social media platforms, I go by the name of Doc, and that's like just a carryover, like Kalonji mentioned, really from my past military stuff. Spent 25 years in the military, a couple years in the Marine Corps, and then 23 years in the Army as combat medic. In the medical field, in the military, the medic is Doc. So that's where that little nickname thing came from. Started once I got out of the military, I spent about probably I say over 15 to 20 years in the area of emergency management, emergency preparedness and response. And I think that might be why Kalonji got me on here this afternoon. But anyway, I've worked with a couple different federal agencies dealing with emergency preparedness, emergency response, basically training folks how to be better prepared when those unexpected emergencies and stuff take place. I started my own company. It's called Still Standing LLC. I started that back in 2012, so about a little over 12 years ago. Basically, my company, what I do with the folks I work with, we focus on training folks in our community to be better prepared for those unexpected emergencies. So even though my passion is like the medical stuff and teaching folks about emergency medical training, you know, how to keep folks alive until help arrives, but also I do a lot of training when it comes to emergency preparedness, you know, things that we should be doing within our community to help us be better prepared when those different types of emergencies or events take place. You know, a lot of times, you know, that saying applies to us. You know, we always normally a day short, dollar short and day late. So when we do have those types of emergencies, a lot of times we become the ones that's most impacted by those events. So yeah. So anyway, that's a little bit about myself.
Word. So we know that, you know, just yesterday we did a show on what went on in Houston with Beryl, you know, and you know, for us, we have different types of training that we do here in Atlanta in particular. Shout out to our brother Balogun Ojore, who is we co-chair the Urban Survival Preparedness Institute, and he's also over the African Martial Arts Institute. So our effort has been to, as you stated, Doc, to be better prepared. When you look at something like Houston, when you look at Harvey, when you look at here in Atlanta, a simple snowstorm, you know what I mean? Oftentimes we take for granted that someone will save us. And sometimes we got to come to the reality that no one's going to save us but us. But also, not just on that level, as you mentioned, till help arrives, we can be on the streets and you might get a stab wound or a gunshot or whatever the case is. I want to for you to speak to our audience about how important survival and preparedness is, and what are some of the tips that you would give folks who are viewers on, you know, surviving America for the most part on whatever level. Because when we talk about urban survival and preparedness, we're not just talking about natural disasters or eating tree bark in the woods. You know, and we can go that to police terrorism to a cat, you know, whatever. Anything can happen. So if you don't mind sharing some tips and ideas on
Okay. Yeah, so when I talk about emergency preparedness, I'm, you know, it's like a broad spectrum of different areas, you know, and kind of like what you just alluded to, Kalonji. So I'll break it down. So let me talk about the first component, like as it applies to what's going on in Texas, for example, right now. Right now, because of the hurricane, folks, a lot of people down there have been out of power for going on 2 weeks. And so when we think about power, especially like this time of year, first thing that probably comes to most people's mind is, damn, I ain't got no air conditioning. It's hot outside. You know, it's just, I mean, I'm just burning up. It's that focus on that, trying to cool off. It's already hot. My air ain't working in the house, what have you. But the thing about it is, when we talk about power, that impacts not just your comfort as far as your environment, air, but impacts everything. You know, stores run off power, so stores going to be closed. So your ability to get food, whatever you got in your house, after so many days, if you have not, especially if it's like refrigerated type food, for example, after so many days, that food is going to go bad if you haven't already consumed it. So basically, when it comes to food, you got what you got. because you're not going to go to the store to get a resupply or buy groceries, because just like the power is impacting you, is impacting the store as well. Stores are closed for the most part. When it comes to money, your ability to access money, to acquire money, maybe to get outside of your area, the impacted area, maybe to a nearby city or another, well, whatever, town or whatever, maybe to try to get some things. Power, the banks are closed. Everything's automated. You know, ATMs are down, banks are closed. You know, they ain't letting you come in there and just hand you some cash without able to record transactions. So your food is impacted, your financial stuff is impacted, your water is impacted because water plants have to go through a purification process. So after a couple of days, the water that you drinking, if you drinking, it's a good chance it's probably contaminated. So now you're talking about food, water, money. Whatever gas you have in your car, you're trying to get outside the city because you think, well, hell, I'm gonna load up and get out of Houston until things get better. Well, once again, gas stations are closed. Those pumps run off of power. So I just use that as a broad spectrum as it relates to power, because what they're going through right now, I feel sorry for the people who have to deal with that. It's definitely not something anybody want to be experienced. Can you prepare for something like that? Just to be totally honest, I think you can prepare, but you cannot prepare for something that's going to be a long-term event like that. You might be able to prepare when it comes to like the food and stuff like that, you know, food that you don't have to cook. I mean, that you don't have to refrigerate, like dry goods, add some water, heat it up, that type of stuff. Certain things you can address, but there's going to be certain things that you won't have. It's going to be beyond your control. So, but you can still attempt to be better prepared. And so I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to get off of that. When we talk about preparedness, we always talk about, you know, you hear people talk about 72 hours worth of supplies. I can tell you that's BS right there. Because I've worked, like I say, I have 20-some years in emergency management, preparedness, and response. That's some old stuff, you know, having that 72-hour worth of stuff. It's a good chance when something on a large scale like that, you may not never get any help. If you're dependent upon local, state, and federal assistance coming to your rescue, you got to remember, this ain't just impacting you, it's impacting a large spectrum, a large area. So your help might come in a week or two. Some folks may not ever get any help. So with that said, that stresses the importance of being self-reliant, becoming self-reliant to understand. I would say at a bare minimum, you know, just to be honest, the average person in our community, in really any community, but I'm focused on our community, you need to be prepared to survive on your own with very little help for probably at a bare minimum of about 3 months. And that will probably help get you through that storm before things start to come back online, start to get normal. You know, and I say 3 months because, you know, things might come back a little bit sooner, but at least that's going to give you a good little cushion if it takes a little bit longer. And so, like I said, that 72-hour stuff, you can forget that because that don't apply. 3 months, you know, water, 3 months food, alternative sources of power. You know, that's where your gas generators come in. And also we talk about redundancy, having a backup to gas would be like solar powered generators. You need both because gas, if the gas stations are not operating, you don't have no gas to put in your generator. So what do you do for that? That's where the solar panel comes in, the solar power generators. We talk about the water, storing up food that doesn't require refrigeration, high in calories, very little preparation required. But you know, because when you talk about food, what breaks you down when it comes to food is you're not taking in enough calories. Your caloric intake, your daily intake is not enough based on what you're doing. So it allows the body to get weak. And basically like you starving in the sense of speaking. And as you become weaker, your body ability to fight off easy stuff or small stuff like infections and things that normally wouldn't bother you, it further breaks the body down. So that's why that food is very important. We know more than 3 days without water, your body starts to go into dehydration. Where your organs and stuff, your body starts to shut down. People might say, "Well, hell, I'm drinking coffee, Kool-Aid, and all this other." It's not the same. You need to keep the body hydrated, keep the electrolytes up. So all those, and I'm gonna get off of this, but all that's important. Oftentimes we don't think about. Unfortunately, in our community, a lot of times we are reactive people. We're not proactive. We it's like shit. Excuse me. It's like
good. This is our show.
After the fact. After the fact. We always after the fact. Hindsight. We got to become more proactive in our thinking. As far as the street stuff, that's where the medical component comes in. Kalonji, I think you was alluding to, because that's another thing I do with the medical training. Yes. We know in our community have a high rate of violence in our communities, a lot of gun-related violence, but it don't always have to be gun-related. We have a lot of drug-related emergencies that take place as well. But with that said, that's why it's important, and that's why we stress, within our organizations, the importance of folks in our community getting this basic medical training, and also stop the bleed training. And also another thing we pushing now is people learning how to use Narcan, the little stuff that you can spray to the nozzles, because we know a lot of folks who into the drug game, cats trying to get that money right. So, a lot of that fentanyl, normally, it's popping up in damn near everything, even weed, you're smoking, next thing cat done laced it with some fentanyl, and now the guy damn near dead because his heart is starting to shut down, his breathing shut down. Narcan is a little device. They give it out free. We teach people how to use it. Basically, it's a little nozzle dispenser, spray in this nose, nostril, other nostril. It basically brings that person back to life. It's for people having opioid overdoses, with fentanyl being one of the main ones. But when we talk about stop the bleed, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna shut up, the importance of getting that medical training. Whenever someone is shot, for example, or hurt, I'll use the example, shootings, because we have a lot of that. A lot of times what you have people standing around recording, hollering and screaming, making all kind of dang noise, ain't really doing nothing to try to help the person. Sometimes it's because they don't know what to do. So because they don't know what to do, they're not going to, fear of doing the wrong thing. You got some folks who don't intend to do nothing anyway. And then you also got the folks who think they know what they're doing, but in reality, they don't. Because a lot of times I've seen on videos, someone has got shot, the person is bleeding out, and they talking about do CPR. Wrong answer. Bottom line, if you have a serious bleeding injury, be it from a gunshot, stabbing, car accident, whatever caused that injury, where you got your arterial artery is being compromised, one of your major blood vessels, primarily we talk about arteries, is compromised, a person can bleed to death in a matter of a couple minutes. And when we say a couple minutes, we're talking about less than 4 minutes. So if you stay in the back while you're trying to figure out what the hell you're going to do, and ain't nobody doing something to control that bleeding, that person they're bleeding to death. That's what they're doing. And so we stress the importance of getting that training. It's some easy training where you learn some basic steps to control that blood loss, keep the person from continuing to bleed out until the EMS or the ambulance arrives. And so that's important. That's probably one of the most important trainings that a person could get. And the last thing I'm going to say with this is a lot of times, we got a whole lot of folks, they walk around, especially in our communities, they think preparedness consists of carrying a firearm. They strapped up. Oh, yeah, something jump off, something happen, I'm good. I'm this, I'm that.
Busting. Right.
Yeah, I'm a bust. I'm going to tell you this. I've been in that, we call it 2A community for a long time. Half these cats can't shoot worth a damn. First of all, they probably shouldn't even have a gun. And then secondly, the other thing, because they hit everything but what they're shooting at. And then the other thing is you're going to have a higher probability of needing to provide medical care to someone versus having to engage a threat with your firearm. You know, people get hurt every day from all types of stuff, but people ain't shooting in a defensive posture every day. So anyway, I'm gonna get off my soapbox, Kalonji.
Nah. We definitely appreciate that. You brothers have any questions that you want to?
Definitely appreciate you, coming through, and because what you said is just real. Like as far as us and our people, I'm sure we're over here in France, and Bouna will tell you it's the same over here. Like in our neighborhoods, outside of Paris, outside of the cities, where our people live. Whenever something goes down, help is not coming. By the time help gets there, our people are bleeding out, or things is over. Whenever we see what they call help, is bad news anyway. So definitely, I appreciate you coming through with some of that knowledge, because it's really important stuff.
Yes, indeed. I appreciate that, brother. Yeah, we don't know we don't realize the importance of it until it happens. But that's pretty much like everything in life.
The thing is, brother, one of the things that I stress, because there's so many folks, there's so many organizations, right? And the thing is, I'm gonna just keep it real. A lot of these organizations, they go after low hanging fruit, right? It's talk shit, do lectures. You know what I'm saying? It's talk about what's wrong. But when it comes to actual production, there's not a lot of that. When it comes to practical shit, it's a little more difficult because folks don't want to get their hand dirty. Because when we talk about urban survival and preparedness, we're also talking about farming. We're talking about gardening. Because to Doc's point, the grocery stores are closed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Shit shutting down. But if you have at least some food you grow, when you talk about making it last, if you have some crops that you can pull up, it's a little bit better than not. You know what I mean? If you have some water storage, you have some, and folks often say, well, I don't have any money to do nothing extra, but they smoking the best weed on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Every day. So you could spend a couple $100 on weed a week. You could go in the club and you could spend $200-$300 on you and whoever you with. You popping bottles and all that shit, but then you say you can't be prepared. You know what I mean? But to the organizational capacity, I'm gonna be real with you. It's hard for me to understand how you have a quote unquote movement or a quote unquote political organization if you don't have a survival component. Survival goes beyond just what Yui was talking about with the survival programs pending revolution. It goes beyond you making some funky ass sandwiches with some bread and hand it out to the community. You know what I mean? That shit got to go harder than that. I know people that have quote unquote community programs like that, feeding the people, but they actually get their money from the people themselves to feed the people. Like, that's really not a program. That's like you're a professional shopper for someone. I'm going to ask you for some money to feed you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So this is how we moving out here. And to what Doc is talking about, again, something that sounds so difficult can be simpler. You know what I mean? Because as we pointed out yesterday on the show with Ikemba, one of the things we talked about is when the community is going through things, they're going to look to us because we're the ones that's talking like we know what the hell is going on. So if you laid up in the damn dome next to them, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta be able to make a way out of no way. I wanna touch in real quick unless someone else has questions or whatever comments.
I just had one question in regards to, so we have an elder of ours, Daruba bin Wahad, that talks about a united front against fascism, democratic fascism to be exact. in the wake of what you see on the screen here, and doing what you do during these natural disasters, through emergency, relief, how important and how integral is your area and field of revolutionary aesthetics important to the a united front against fascism? Because people look at EMT, they'll look at fighter fighters, and whatnot, and they think that they don't have fascist aesthetics, but we all know that just like police forces, they have their own gangs as well, that sometimes don't make calls, don't go to certain areas that need help, and inevitably put themselves in a position to show their true colors and who they operate for. So if you could, how important is your expertise in your job field, and how important is it to a united front against fascism, as Dhoruba bin Wahad is calling for?
Well, I would say this, and what I'm saying is just my own personal opinion. Okay, so I'm not speaking on behalf of nobody or no one, but I would say this, in many organizations, be it whatever the organization is, they're made up of people from all crosses of society, So you're gonna have them, you're gonna have them cats who like you and those who don't like you. Those who are gonna be quick to help in uniform, and those who ain't gonna be so quick to help you. They may be wearing a uniform, because they're a cross section of society. And so I won't say, and like I say, this is me personally speaking. I won't say an organization by itself is bad, but I would say you may have some bad people within that organization. And so when that call goes out, hopefully, hell, that ain't the one to respond and to come assist you. I can say this, when I was living in, where I was living at in Atlanta, I was living in it. Well, I don't want to slander them, but I would just say this: there is a part of the city I was staying in. Hell, I remember calling 911. I ain't getting no 911 help to damn near 45 minutes later. So if it had been a situation where I would really need some help, maybe I'm bleeding up or somebody on my case that's really trying to get at me, I'm on my own, because the help was slow. The response was slow. And so was it slow because of where I stayed at and where the population, the demographics of the people in that area was the majority? That's my assumption. I assume it was based on where I was staying at. So anyway, that's why, we cannot within our community be solely reliant upon someone else for our safety and survival. If you depended upon someone else solely to come to your rescue when you need help all the time, I mean, now there's some situations that would stand within the legal parameters rather, but we have to become more self-reliant, to be able to handle or deal with certain things until that help arrives. Because once again, that help may not arrive. And then once they do arrive, like I say, you might get the Klanmen wearing the police uniform, or who knows? I don't know what the hell you're gonna get. You don't know what you're gonna get until they show up. So like I say, that's my personal opinion. I don't identify any particular organization as good or bad, as fascist or whatever, this or that, whatever the politics may be. I just know organizations are made up of a cross section of our society, and hell, that comes with a little bit of everything. So, but the more self-reliant you are, the more you know about your rights and your law and the law of the country. That means you better be better prepared for what may show up at your door, as far as how you should operate or handle that situation. So that's my answer.
You mentioned firearms and how folks feel comfortable, and I appreciate the question, Isaac. Indeed, you mentioned firearms and how folks, when they talk about preparedness, how there's a comfort for many folks with firearms, right? The way we train, knowing that there's let's say the city's shut down or whatever the case is, right? Let's say that it's going down. It's about to, shit's up. It's about to erupt. You know what I mean? And you think that it's all good because you got your gun. When you're talking about being in a situation where everything is heightened, bullets can be scarce, weapons can be scarce. So some folks are going to be looking for where that shot came from because that's another weapon that they could put in their arsenal. You understand what I'm saying? So when we talk about survival preparedness, without us going too in depth, what are some other safety measures you could take? Because we know that some of us, yes, we believe in armed struggle, but there are other tools that are useful when we talk about survival preparedness. Can you speak to that a little bit? We got about 5 minutes and whatnot, but I definitely wanted to address that because I think that oftentimes people are confused when we talk about survival preparedness and what you said about the gun. Some folks, if they don't have a gun, then they don't have a fight.
That's right. And actually, the firearm is a tool. It's like any other tool.
Right.
You choose that tool based on the job you're trying to perform. In this particular case, you may be looking at it as a defensive tool or a personal protection tool, what have you. But it's a tool, and it ain't always supposed to be your first tool of choice. And like you just said, Kalonji, a lot of cats, the first thing they want to do is start shooting because hell, they don't have any other options because they don't have any other skills. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like in the organization, we stress the importance of fitness. We stress the importance of learning some form of combative skill, like with the organization with African Martial Arts Institute. Learning how to use other tools in those certain situations. So the firearm is not always like damn near your only option because you ain't got no other skills. That's all you know what to do. And with that said, because you don't have any other options, that becomes the first option. And so, like I said, in our community, in many cases, that is the first option and only option for a lot of the guys. Because hell, they ain't, they can't, back in the days they get your squabble game up, or everybody either knew how to box, was in martial arts, all of that, at least when I grew up, that's what we did.
We grew up too. A lot of these cats are soft now. They just,
we used to throw down this right here.
These dudes doing tight buys right now. They'll
say, come on.
Yeah, they'll do a tight buy on you. They'll come by and say something bad about you on the internet.
That's
That'll
right. We got these internet commandos. They talk big stuff on that damn computer, but when you see them in the street, hell, they can't do what they need to do. But anyway, yeah. So the importance of is, this is the tool. This right here is the main tool. Conflict doesn't always have to be the first option. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to always be the only option. So if I could talk my way, matter of fact, we talk about situational awareness. If there's something going on, if I can avoid that conflict or that situation, that's my first option. Avoidance, by being aware of what's going on around me. If I can't avoid it, maybe I can talk my way up out of there. But whatever the case is, when we talk about the firearms, it should be really your last option. But I would say this: if you're the kind of person who's going to be carrying a firearm because of whatever, get proper training, know how to employ it correctly, safely, so we don't be reading about all these innocent kids and old folks like myself who done got shot because some cat, hell, he just dumping and he can't shoot no damn way. He probably shouldn't even have a firearm. So we don't need any more of those types of stories.
Okay, so we wrapping it up. I'm gonna ask you this last thing, which we already know the answer for. Does a knife work? And should you carry it? How many should you carry?
Come on, you already know the answer to that. But I would say this: me and a friend of mine, another brother, like-minded, we was talking about that yesterday, and I told him I'd rather go to a gunfight than a knife fight. Because that knife is woo. especially close up. Yeah.
Man.
If I can run, I'm running. You know, there's only two options for a knife fight. That's either a gun or how fast you can run. But ain't no other options for that knife. No.
And some of us carry more than one.
Yeah.
Not me, though. I'm non-violent like King and them. But anyway, we definitely appreciate you coming on, Doc. We're gonna definitely have you on again. We need a segment with Doc at least once a week. So we can talk about survival.
Appreciate you. That was great.
And we'll need it because, you know, I think a lot of us are not prepared for the rise of fascist governments. So and the white fascists that are training, you know, they're in survival programs. So, you know, training.
They're serious.
That's a topic I could talk about for the next couple of weeks.
No doubt.
Because
matter of fact,
they've been.
Matter of fact, Doc's supposed to be getting a show on Black Power Media, so y'all pressing. So anyway,
when's it coming?
That'd be a topic.
Definitely need another show with Doc.
No doubt. But listen, we got to run. We will definitely wrap with you soon, brother. Appreciate you. I'll be calling you because we have that thing coming up in August, Black August. And you know, we're good to go, man. Good love to the family. We see you soon, comrade.
Likewise, brothers. Y'all be safe.
Appreciate you.
All right, no doubt.
Yes, sir. You're checking out Rise Up Morning Show. We up this morning. That was my man Doc Pegins, Dexter Doc Pegins, serious brother in the community, holding it down. Unfortunately, we are out of time. So we had some other stuff for you, but that means you guys show up on Monday.
We'll be back. Yeah, we'll be back after the weekend.
No doubt. Y'all be safe out there. My man Isaac's going to take us out the cut. Until next time, rise up.
Rise up.
Rise up.
You know what I'm saying? The LA stay in me, you know what I mean? I can say that's 80. I'm shooting for 100, nigga. Let's get this money, roll out. Yeah. Fuck married to the game. Fuck fame. Fuck standing for nothing and standing for something, you end up the same. Fuck using this music to push that confusion. The power will prove it. It's the return of the source, nigga. It's your tuned in, Jasper, say of course, nigga. It's your damn flat tire, I say like four, nigga. Looking for something that's different. Give you exactly what's missing. It's the return of the source. The bottom of the night. Took a pound by the eight. Suited and booty, you know what we doing. You know we ain't coming to play. Surrounded by warriors. The bold and the glorious. Don't really want war with us big as we buy it, they call us notorious. You be coming for the head spot, train for the headshot, win some, lose some. For the heart of the South Bronx, home when the heart knocks if I came from. Mixing the words and the sound is surrounding you, feeling the power. Put it together, the art and the rap and the dance and the shit is a problem. Fuck married to the game. Fuck fame. Fuck standing for nothing and standing for something, you end up the same. Fuck using this music to push that confusion. The power will prove it. It's the return of the source, nigga. It's your tuned in, depth and say of course, nigga. Come on. It's your damn flat tire, I say like four, nigga. Looking for something that's different. Give you exactly what's missing. It's the return of the source. Yeah, catch it like a vibe. Get you crawling up your spine. Yeah, feel good till you good, cause it's good for you now that you see that you lie. Put the game in the wrong hands, off with the wrong plan, give me that shit back. Took the beat on the 3-4 verb on the end, no nigga, that shit crack. Look at the clothes, look at the drip, look at the shit we rock. Look at the chains, look at the gold, all up through my mouth. Where you think it started, we got it from the heart of darkness, don't get it wrong, of the source.